This class will be a brief hip opener class. As first responders, it's a very stressful job, and it's known that a lot of times we tend to carry stress in certain parts of our body, and our hips are one of those areas that need a little more love, a little more attention. So we'll take some time to do some hip openers today. Any space on your mat will be good. No props needed. And we can begin, actually you can bring your feet flat to the mat, and then bring your hands back behind you, planting your palms into the mat. Allow yourself to lean back a little bit. Take your feet about shoulder width apart or so, and then we'll windshield wipe the legs side to side to get our hips warmed up. So as you inhale, let the legs go over to the side. Exhale to center. Inhale to the other side. Exhale to center. And just take a few rounds side to side at your own pace. Just getting into the hips here, getting warmed up for some static stretches. Some deep stretches here to really stretch out that tension. A couple more times, side to side. And then when you're ready, come back to a neutral position. And then from here, I invite you to meet at hands and knees. Knees about hip width apart, hands beneath the shoulders. Bring your big toes to touch. Take your knees actually a little wider. And then from here, shift your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale here, and then exhale, press your hips back towards a child's pose-like position. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, shift back. And a few times back and forth at your own pace. Again, we're just getting into the hips. Nice and warm. Warming up our body. Preparing for some static stretches here. One or two more rounds here. Good, and when you're ready, come back to hands and knees. And then from here, we'll set up for frog pose. For frog pose, you can bring your knees towards the top of your mat here, so you have feet space to step back. And then take your knees as wide as you like. Take your knees wide enough to feel the openness in your hips. Option to bring your feet a little more in line with your knees. And then option to either allow your hands to rest palms down in the mat. If it feels good, you can stay here, or you can lower down to your forearms. Then from here, find a little bit of movement, slightly forward, slightly backward. And when you feel a good stretch in the hips, you can pause there and begin to settle into that stretch. Continue to take some deep, full breaths here. And when we work on our hips, sometimes our body has a tendency to want to resist. And sometimes that's not very helpful. So with each breath, see if you can become a little more soft into the position. See if you can release any muscle activation. Fully letting go. And take about 5 or so more breaths here at your own pace. Good. And when you're ready, there's a couple ways you can transition out of this pose. One is just pressing yourself up, bring your knees closer, or you can kind of shift yourself forward to come out of the pose. However works for you, just coming back, meeting at hands and knees. And then tuck your toes to the mat. Press your hands into the mat, pressing it back to a brief downward dog just to transition into pigeon pose. From here, bring your left knee, softly place it down by your left wrist, and then let your right knee come down, untuck your right foot. If pigeon pose is not for you, it's not good for your body, you can always come to figure four pose by coming to your back and stretching here, pressing your hand into your thigh, or option to bring your hands behind your hamstring. If you chose pigeon pose, bring your left leg a little more parallel to the top of the mat. Let your right leg stretch back. Bring your hips in line with each other. So if you notice you're kind of leaning over to the side, hips become parallel with each other. And then the option to stay here, or option to lower down any amount. Maybe you come down to your forearms, or maybe you reach the arms out and in front of you. Again, your body may naturally want to tighten up here as a method to protect yourself. But see if you can allow your mind to slow down the breathing. And as you slow down the breathing, it sends signals to your mind and body that we are safe here. We can settle into this pose. Gradually letting go a little bit more with each breath. A few more breaths here on this side. Then when you're ready, you can press yourself up, planting your hands to the mat. Option to stay here for a few breaths, or option to bring your left hand to the center of the mat. Bring your right heel towards you, reach back. You can grab your right ankle, shift yourself forward. Any amount, just getting a little bonus quad stretch here. Nice, and when you're ready, softly lower your right foot back down, tuck your toes to the mat, begin to press back to a brief downward dog. Bring some attention to your left side, circle out your left ankle or your left hip a couple times, and then press your left foot back to the mat. Switch to the other side, softly lower your right foot towards your right wrist. Left knee comes down to the mat, untuck your left foot, reposition your right leg to whatever feels comfortable, a little more parallel to the top of the mat, with the option to go to your back for that figure four as another option here. Option to stay with your hands to the mat or lower down any amount back to your forearms or reaching the arms all the way forward. Taking some time to settle back in, finding a little more softness with each breath. Breathing into those parts that need a little more love, a little more attention. Softening even the other parts of our body that we don't think about. Softening the muscles of the forehead, softening the shoulders. And good. A few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, you can press your hands into the mat, lifting the heart forward. Option to stay here or take that twist. Bring your right hand to the center of the mat. Pull your left heel closer towards you. You can reach back, grab your left foot or your left ankle. Rotate the upper body forward. A few breaths here. And good, release it back down. Tuck the left toes to the mat. Press all the way back to your downward dog. Bring any movement back to your right side, the ankle, the right hip. And then bring both feet down to the mat. Lower your knees softly to the mat, and I invite you to meet on our back for a couple more poses to close out. Good. From here, extend the legs all the way out. Reach the arms over your head. And then hug your knees towards your chest. Option to stay here, or option to go for happy baby. You can grab the outsides of your feet, or you can bring your index and middle fingers to your big toes. Stack your ankles over your feet. Let your lower back rest to the mat. Softly pull down any amount to open up the hips. Allowing your head and shoulders to rest on the mat. And if you want one more hamstring stretch, you can extend the legs all the way out. Nice. Bring your knees towards your hips. One more time. Hug it in. Let your feet rest on the mat. Extend the legs all the way out. Reach the arms back over the head. One more good morning stretch. Bring your knees to the mat. Rotate to either side of your body. Option to stay here or press yourself up to seated to close out. Thank you once again for practicing with us. I hope you enjoyed. Bowing forward, gratitude. Have a great day.